everyone, welcome to another video review. This is a Transformers Studio Series 8601 Autobot Jazz, the deluxe class. Yes, the new sub-line of the Studio Series sub-line. Yeah, because technically it's a sub-line of Generations. But anyway, yeah, you can see there he is in his, definitely not a Porsche shut up mode. And you can see right here in, there's his box, which, yep, Studio Series box. So there's Jazz, looking all happy and stuff, and Transformers, the movie from '86, and Autobot Jazz and 8 Plus and Transformers, and and all that stuff there. And then you got the window where it is, and and then on the side here you have close up of Jazz and Studio Series 86.1, and then here you got another Jazz and 86 right here instead of the usual Autobot or Decepticon logo on these things. Still got the window on top with the movie logo for where it came from. And you got manufacturing and warnings and all that stuff on the back, and on the bottom in the back here you have of course product shots and little warnings and a little quick bio. Big and screen inspired to scale detail backdrop, and then Autobot Jazz makes a futile escape as Unicron devours Moonbase 1 destruction, because he's got the backdrop and plastic tray. Yeah, this because the Studio Series always comes with these guys, and yep, you see that right there. It says 86, all that stuff. You can see the Moonbase 1. He's there with Cliff Jumper. Yeah. Also, comes with instructions, which nice real red there, real easy to follow. Yeah, Jazz. This just a bit. Jazz here is he is a white and blue and red sports car, or race car I should say. You can see he is very close to his cartoon appearance, little bit close to the real world appearance, but not quite, because again, licensing issues with Porsche. But yeah, you can see that, got all about symbol, got the big old whale tail, translucent windows, silver rims. You can see his feet there, but it's kind of a common problem with a lot of Jazzes. He's got silver up here with the blue headlights and whatnot, little vent details, and the 14, which the 14. So the thing about the 14 is, it's they didn't put the number 4 on there, and people were like, why didn't they put the number 4? And basically, it's a weird trademark thing about racing livery and whatnot. Basically, because they are trying to emulate the Martini racing. Putting a 4 could be close enough for them to get in legal trouble. So 14 kind of skirts the law enough. It's one of those weird things. It's like the third-party companies coming out with weird names for their figures just because they're skirting trademark law, essentially. It's the same sort of thing. So then people are like, so why 14 and not like 44 or something? And my understanding is the reason is because the original Diaclone Jazz was number 14. Or not Jazz, but the Diaclone figure that Jazz was based on was number 14. In the line, so that's pretty much the reasoning why, and apparently nothing else. And people, I understand why people were a little paranoid after the last mainline Jazz release. But anyway, he also has a gun, which Ken Pagan up here on the little roof hole, which looks silly because unfortunately there's no underneath storage or anything. So that's a bit of a thing. But he does roll pretty well, as long as the wheel manages to grip. This wheel has a bit of a friction problem. Once the wheels grip. You also see this has a bit of a problem of mine, but I'll get to that in a bit. Yeah, it rolls pretty well. There you go. Other Jazzes. Here he is with the, aforementioned Power of the Primes Jazz, which is a bigger car, but, very different looking. Still a race car, though, and still number 4. And here he is with the old Classics. Yeah, it was Classics? No, not Classics. Generations. Generations Jazz. Or was it Reveal the Shield? Well, either way, it's the older Jazz that a lot of people still have and still swear by and whatnot, who's still a slightly bigger car and everything, although you can see a very different shade of white. Yeah. It's not just the livery, it's the fact that it's, it looks much more like the real world car plus the livery, which might get into the trademark issues if you're wondering. So that's why the others are still able to have the number 4, because they don't look like this car. But anyway, it's a really nice looking deluxe figure, and the transformation though is also pretty simple. You just take up here, you take down here, you take the doors and untab them and bring them up because there's, yeah, they tab into the arms right there. You see that? Yeah, untab them, bring them up. And you want to untab the rear windshield from the back here because this all is one piece. Yeah, you want to untab that from the rear, and then you want to bring it out from the top front as well, and then kind of just hinge it up like this and just get it out of the way. This gives you the clearance you need to get the legs extended. So you can extend the legs out like that. You can then separate them and bring these parts down. Yeah, you can see that one's loose. There's a little notch on the side of the legs for it to sit in, but this one for some reason just sits in loose. I don't know if it was pinned incorrectly or what, but on this one at the very least, oh yeah, and you also got to bring the foot forward, and then you got to bring this down. And on mine at least, very least, if I just give it a little squeeze, it kind of holds in a bit for a while until I start messing with it again. But yeah. So bring the foot forward and then rotate this down and line it up with that notch, and there you go. And you can also then angle the feet out a little bit so that's, you know, got a nice little A stance, and there you go. That's, oh yeah, these right here do tab into the knees, so give it a good press, and there you go. That'll lock into place. So that's the legs done. Now up here, what you want to do is go ahead and take the arms and rotate them outward like this. Clearance, and then you want to take this silver piece right here, this silver abdomen piece, and you just want to rotate that piece by itself forward like that. And then you can go ahead and, you know, mess with the backpack. What you want to do there is take the rear windshield, bring it. Also make sure to clear the doors. You have to kind of fold them in a bit. Yeah, bring the rear windshield in. It's on double hinge, so take the rear windshield and compress it inside like that, and then you can take the doors and close them up like that, and that lets you bring it down. Actually, you want to kind of keep it out of the way for now. But yeah, then you want to take this and you want to take this little flap right here, this little flap, and push it through like that. Bring it forward. And then you want to rotate the head around on this little platform and bring this down. You want to rotate this head around. And yeah, you kind of have to squeeze it by that. So be careful about that part. And bring this down. And there's little slots right here in this, right here. You see those little slots? Those go into over those tabs. So you just want to bring this down and over the tabs like that, and that helps lock things into place. You can bring the arms down, bring the backpack down like that, rotate the arms forward, and then unfold the hands. Bring that back forward because it came loose again. And there you go. There's Studio Series Jazz in his robot mode. All right, yeah, it's definitely Jazz. I mean, you can see how he looks. He's very, very much like the original cartoon, because, well, yeah, of course he is, because he's Studio Series. That's the whole point of the line, is to match the big screen. And he's also got his little gun here. You can put it in his hand and all that stuff. That was funny because a lot of them are coming in accessories, and definitely did not ever use in this movie, but they're just kind of expected. It's almost as if they're made for another line entirely, but then just got moved off to Studio Series because they changed their mind about how they're going to do some stuff. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, that's the whole thing. Is the Studio Series 86 was most of those figures, pretty much all the figures were more or less supposed to be for Kingdom, but then got moved over because of various reasons, including bringing back Beast Wars, and also apparently the designers really wanted figures that, you know, didn't have to worry about things like having, you know, the mandatory 5mm ports all over them. So there you go. That's why. So anyway, yeah, Jazz here. Looks really good, you know, once again, still mostly white, you know, got some silver detailing down there. He's got his good old mono eye visor thing. No smirk or anything, unfortunately. You know, he's very stoic here. I wish he wasn't so stoic, you know, because he's, you know, it's Jazz. He's usually having a good time. And that's when he's being eaten by Unicron, of course, because that's usually a bad time. Unless you're into that sort of thing. I mean, anyway, yeah, so it looks real good, you know, it's a good looking Jazz. It's probably as close you're probably ever going to get to this. You know, for a while, we're never going to get official Masterpiece Jazz, just because Porsche just refuses to play ball for whatever reason. I'm not going to get into that right now, but it just looks real nice, and he's got his silver gun, which, you know, I guess you can also store in the back here. He's got these pegs on the sides, which kind of don't fit as well, but, you know, they kind of fit in the back, so, you know, you can just store in the back there if you don't want him holding the gun. You know, he wants to Earth to Roger him, Wilco him, you know, all that stuff. Yeah, it looks real good, and I just rather like it. You know, and articulation, head on a ball joint, so left and right, up and down. He's got a bit of waggle. Shoulders, full range right there. Full 360. Outward. A little offset, but, outward. Got a bicep swivel. His elbows actually have a weird click to them, but yeah, they have about 90 degrees. His wrists, unfortunately, do not swivel because of how he transforms, so there's that. His waist does swivel, though, so that's nice, although the backpack, you have to move a little out of the way to get full range, but not the end of the world there. It'll move happily out of the way for you, and also by the time it does bump, it's already at the point of kind of ridiculousness. Hips. Refocus this. Hips are about forward that far. They're a little limited because of the sculpting. The back about that far, quite far anyway. Outward that far. You have a good thigh swivel there. Knees. You have okay. If you leave it tabbed in, you get about that much range. If you untab it, you can do that, but then the knee starts to look a little weird, but not actually too terrible. So, if you're willing to sacrifice a little bit of aesthetic for a knee bend, there you go. And feet, you got quite a bit of a ankle tilt, and on top of that, you got a toe tilt as well, or toe, although it's downward, so not super useful in a lot of poses, but useful in some. One thing on mine, yeah, this stupid thing right here, this little wheel well just does not want to stay in one spot. It's very loose, and I hope that's just my issue, not a common one. But anyway, comparisons. Here he is with, of course, the old Reveal the Shield Jazz, I believe, who is significantly taller, and also that doesn't latch in, as everyone remembers. And of course, the Power of the Primes Jazz, which also is a bit taller, but is way, way more inaccurate, and a lot of people don't like it, even though I still have a soft spot for it, but yeah, this is definitely the better figure. I have all the three of these. I think this is the best looking figure, but these two are not bad, because they still have that jazz style, because jazz is all about style, and I think these two are still good figures. So I understand if you have the old Reveal the Shield one, and you just don't want to replace him for whatever reason, understandable, but this is still a really good one. And of course, he uses Prime, because always got to compare with Prime. Earthrise Prime specifically, noticeably shorter, but that's actually more or less, I believe, the route that's right scale. And because this is who he was hanging out with for most of the movie, Earthrise Cliff Jumper. Again, I think that's also a good scale. He doesn't really match the movie, but it's G1 enough that you could probably get away with it. Have them hanging out in Moonbase 1. While Bumblebee and Spike are hanging out in Moonbase 2, and there's Unicron looming, and oh no, there we go. Yeah, overall though, oh yeah, and of course I just want to show this off, because I did have it on there earlier. The backdrop, you can be there, on the backdrop. Although if you want to be accurate, he's kind of would be facing away from you, kind of at the computer. So this might be the one and only time you can justify having your Transformers displayed with the back towards the front. But anyway, you can do that if you want. He's a good he's a pretty good figure, and my first the first one I have from the Studio Series 86. Other than this bum wheel well that's way too loose, he's real good. The only thing is also when transforming the backpack, the doors do like to get caught on this part right here, the rear window when they're transforming it. So that's my other big, I guess, complaint. Other than that, though, really solid. Really like him. Recommend picking him up and whatnot, and I guess filling out your movie line or whatever. Yeah, he's good. I really like him, and yeah, I always like a good jazz. And well, so far none of the jazzes I have actually outright disappointed me. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you found this informative, entertaining, all that stuff. Like, comment, and subscribe. Check it out me on Twitter. I'm on Nemesis Prime 1. Put photos and whatnot of figures there as I, various figures as I, get them. And check out the coffee and the Patreon. And I see you next time with another video review.